Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Good Grief. I had to think about it. Good Grief and Kim Possible. Come on in the room, sis. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes, yes. We had raiders that came in. CrazyBerryTown raided us, Kim.
All right now. I saw that coming through. I'm like, it's a raid.
It's a raid. It's a raid. It's a raid, you all. I want to appreciate CrazyBerryTown for that raid. That's just how crazy CrazyBerryTown is. She raids us and then comes in and she's part of the team here. Girl, you know you all that in a bag of chips. That's all I can say about you, CrazyBerryTown.
Fancy meeting you here.
Girl, how you go from Zumba-ing to now good griefing?
Let me find my headphones. Is there an echo or can you all hear me okay?
We
Now
hear
you're
you
fine.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't hear an echo either. All right. So I don't need my headphones then.
All right, cool.
Well,
Hey, Miss J in the UK, I miss you, girl. Hey,
Yes,
girl.
yes, yes. Look at all these raiders that came across with CrazyBerryTown. And we're still, I want to say thank you to everybody that rode that raid train over with CrazyBerryTown. Y'all see how magical she is. Listen, that flute has given her magical power.
Listen,
That flute has
The
given
fabulous flat flute has just enchanted all who have heard it,
that flute does
who will
everything.
ever hear it.
Those 3 notes.
I have not recovered. I am still under the spell of the fabulous flat flute.
I love it. I just want you to know that she has increased her notes, Kim Possible. You missed her stream. She had a talking stream. She actually didn't Zumba. She had a talking stream, and she actually increased. I can play that in tune now in 4 notes. Or is it 5? Is it 5, Crazy? Which one is it?
It's 4.
It's 4. Okay.
It's 4. And 4.5. Like that 5th one, it depends on how I get that finger on that hole. Sometimes it doesn't quite come out right, but I'm getting there.
You're doing a great job.
I love it all.
I love it too.
I love it all.
I love it too. Good afternoon, ladies, and good afternoon to everybody that's here. You know, this is Good Grief, and this, as you saw, you don't have to walk this journey alone. You are not alone. You have support, and that's what this Good Grief gathering is about, led by none other than CrazyBerryTown and KimPossible711. They are 2 beautiful souls that really have a powerful gifting in this area. We're so glad for everybody that joined us on today, and this is where I just kind of kick back and they do their thing. So there you go, ladies. Please run away with it, and let's just have a good time today. Love you so much.
Well, first of all, I think I need a beverage because I think she got a beverage left over from the previous stream.
Day drinking and chit chat. That's what we did.
Goodness gracious.
Mother is full. You understand? Listen, I want to tell you, CrazyBerryTown, and I can do this because I know that your twin loves you to the death, no matter what I say. But wait, she sent me a message and said she's gonna be drunk by the time we get.
I know, right? Grief where? Who's grieving? Like, listen.
Just makes for a more authentic conversation.
Yes.
It is about to be lit, Rebel. You're right. I've had 2 mimosas, and I mean, might be working on the 3rd. I don't know.
I'm not mad at you.
Hey, it's Friday, all over the place. So
yes. So Miss Kim, how are you today? Gorgeous. You're looking beautiful.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like every week I get another news. So I got another news of another death. And this young woman was someone that I had met through one of my Healing Heart Wounds groups last year.
Mm-hmm.
She was going through chemo then. And I got a text 2 nights ago that she had passed away.
Oh no.
And I just had to kind of put it to I couldn't even deal with it until yesterday evening. I literally had to that's when I talk about kind of putting something on the shelf until I can get back to it. And so I wasn't able to get back to it till last night. And so it's been a rough night and morning. Cancer sucks. And she was I had only met her I guess our class started in October. And so from October to now, but she made an indelible mark on my heart and on our group. She was the reason why at the last part of our group, she was like, we're all queens, so we need to dress as such. And so we all showed up on Zoom in our crowd and took pictures and did virtual hugs and all of that. So it's rough to realize that she's not here anymore.
Does she live here in Atlanta?
Yes. She was a nurse. She actually knew some people that I knew to a fellow United Methodist Church. So she knows, I know the pastor there and some of the people that she knows. So we're grieving as a community today.
That's hard.
Regarding her loss. So, and thank you everyone for your hugs and your prayers.
Yeah, sending love to you and to all those who loved her and comfort to all of you. Yeah. That's hard. Like we were talking about compounding, you're just adding it on to what's already seems to be kind of tender anyway. Yeah.
So a little earlier today, I put out in the Good Grief Discord just this chart that has the 12 stages of grief. And then next to it, it had somebody's representation of how they went through those 12. and it's all these zigzaggy kind of
Yeah.
lines, which is kind of where I am.
Yeah.
It was a good representation of the journey because you're in one place one moment, you're in another place another day, you get another call, you go to another space. Right. And you're just kind of there.
Yeah.
And it's raining here, so it's just
I know. I know the thunder was so loud they could hear it on the stream earlier. It's like I felt like the vibration in my chair. I was like, my butt just shook from the thunder. What's going on? Yeah, I mean, it was loud, and that just, it's just dreary. It just, doesn't really help the mood, not the mood.
Yeah.
The mood. Yeah, it's lightened up a little bit. I said earlier, it got so dark, it looked like it was turning like into nighttime. It got dark. Well, I needed a little more light. It was kind of scary. Yeah.
Yep. And so I've been in bed all morning. I literally got up about an hour ago.
And that's okay.
I just didn't feel like it. I just did not. I was just not in the mood for it at all. So, so that's kind of where I am today.
Yeah, and that's fine. And you probably, honestly, even outside of the grief that you're feeling, you probably needed the rest anyway. So it's good that you just
that is true.
Chilled out and just did what you needed to do for Kim. Yeah.
As y'all know from last week, I was going to be spending my weekend with 10, 12-year-olds.
Yes.
Oh, how did that go?
It wasn't too bad, but it snowed on Saturday. So I was happier than the children. I'm like, it's snowing. Do y'all see that it's snowing? I'm out there with my camera trying to capture the snow and me in the snow because who knows when I'll see snow again. And when I say snow, flurries. It wasn't snowing.
Right.
But it was snow to me. So I was excited about that. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Just a long, draining weekend. 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back. An hour and a half to drive to the church because of traffic on Fridays in Atlanta. So,
right.
Yeah, but all is well.
Right. Yeah. Well, I thought about you. It was something I saw. I was somewhere. Oh, I think we were at Chick-fil-A and there was a van that pulled up with a bunch of kids and it looked like some chaperones. I said, wonder how Kim is doing.
So this is
we were worried about you, sis. We were.
Quickly, it was a Jewish facility, right? Thing was kosher.
Oh.
So they had pizza before they left. We're only going to be there Saturday. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. Right. By 2:00, they were like, can we go to Chick-fil-A? Like, when was the last time y'all saw Chick-fil-A? Do you know how far we are away from Chick-fil-A? And if I could go to Chick-fil-A, we all would go to Chick-fil-A, but we're not going to Chick-fil-A.
Right. Well, what did they have?
So breakfast was, they did have eggs and cereal and oatmeal and all of that, but because of the Sabbath, they don't heat. They don't turn on fire.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a part of the Sabbath. So
now that I didn't know.
Work to turn on a light switch, to light a match, to do any of those things. So I'm assuming the people that were working there were not Jewish because they weren't supposed to even be working on the Sabbath. So for breakfast, we had just light things. Then for lunch, it was tuna salad, egg salad, quinoa salad, regular salad.
Your face.
But I just got back from the Holy Land, so I'm like, hey, this is wonderful. So they were like, what is this? I'm like, eat it. It's not bad. Try it.
Oh, Lord.
But for dinner, we had salmon. We had a pasta bar with multiple types of sauces and types of pasta. They had tiramisu for dessert and chocolate cake for dessert. They had the leftover quinoa salad, another salad, and garlic bread. So it was
actually
banging, right? Okay.
Pretty good.
Compared to, and one of the parents was like, could we order pizza because the kids are complaining? And a lot of the chaperones who had done it before were like, look, if we got to suffer, they got to suffer.
But kids, I thought would like pasta bars, kids don't they typically like pasta?
They were asking for that before the pasta bar. And then we were going to have marshmallows and s'mores by the fire that night, which it was 22 degrees, mind you. So they did it at the pizza oven because the wind was so bad. They didn't want to do a fire pit. So we had to do the pizza oven.
Okay.
So that took all of 20 minutes because it was so
Right.
cold outside.
Right.
And then
Oh
they
my
had all the
goodness.
snacks in the world in their room. So, you know, we
Yeah.
can go to McDonald's on the way back to church. So,
Right. Well, you made it.
yes, we did. We made it.
Yes. You
Praise
made
the
it.
Lord.
Awesome,
Thank the
awesome,
Lord.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, CrazyBerryTown, you had a birthday this week.
I
Yes.
did.
And you did
Ow.
something very special on your birthday that you've mentioned to us.
I did. Yes, I did. So
So do you
my birthday was
care to
Wednesday.
share?
Huh?
Do you care to share?
I do. Yeah, look, I've been promoting it all week. Come to Good Grief so you can get the recap of my medium session. But and I will preface this and say anybody that's interested, for her information, I can send it to you on Instagram. And that's how I found her on Instagram, and I booked through her website link, which is on Instagram. But so yeah, I had a birthday Wednesday, and I wanted to. I mentioned this last week for those that were here, and I mentioned it in my stream yesterday and today. So I said, you got to come. There's Good Grief so you can get the recap. And so I wanted to, I met with a medium a few years ago on my birthday because, as I said before, I wanted some kind of something. I don't know. I wanted to hear from her. I just needed something. I didn't know what that something was, but I figured I'd give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do it again. It was so positive the first time. And I felt, it was still very early. It hadn't even been a year since my mom had passed. So I felt good in that I heard from her and that she had things to say to me, but I still felt awful, like just in so much pain. And so I'm, almost 4 years removed from it, her passing, and I wanted to do it again. The medium recommends that you do it if you're looking to hear from someone specifically, because she does what she calls intuitive readings too, where she, talks about you, like if you have goals and things, like she sort of reads you in a way. But this is I forgot what she calls it, where you connect with people, spirit people, as she calls them, on the other side. So she said, do it at a time or a day that is special to you and that person or people you want to connect with. And so I chose my birthday because she gave birth to me, and that's about as close as you can get as special. So she called. So we did, thank you, Lovey. Thank you so much. And hey, everybody, thank you for being here. So we did a FaceTime. So she called me on FaceTime, and when she saw my face, she said my name looked familiar, but she saw my face. She remembered the session that we had before. And so she always says this, and I'm just going to say this to you all, just so you'll know where I'm coming from, that, working with a medium in this way, and I learned this from her, so I'm not like an expert, but she said it's not like you do it and you say, hey, when we meet, I want to talk to so-and-so, or I want to talk to these 3 people out of all the people that have passed in my life. I just want those 3. It doesn't work like that. It's not like you pick up a phone and call heaven and say, hey, can I talk to Carolyn? It just doesn't happen that way. So she said to not be, to anticipate, and look forward to talking with or hearing from that person. But if you don't, there's a possibility. And in the first 5 minutes, if that person hasn't come through, she will ask you, is there someone you're looking to talk to? And that happened this time. The first time my mom was, she was there very early on in the session. And this time it took her about 15 minutes. I'm like, look, lady, I paid for 30 minutes now. Okay. So I need you to just. So, right. So she asked me, and I was like, well, this is all great because other people, which was beautiful. I heard from other people I really had no anticipation, no expectation to hear from these people. It was actually amazing. And I said, but yeah, I'm looking to hear from my mom. And she said, well, tell me her name and, describe her to me. And has anybody come through that's blood related to her? And they had. It was my mother's mother. So my maternal grandmother came through first. I don't remember her. I was 1, almost 2 when she passed. So in my mind, I never met her. And for her to come through to me, that I thought that was really beautiful, to make that connection, even though she's on the other side, but to communicate with her, considering I never had the chance. And so my maternal grandmother was there, and And she really just kind of highlighted some things that are happening in our lives that she can see. And she was talking about that and how she was proud of my marriage and proud of my husband for taking care of us. And she mentioned his raise and promotion. And mind you, listen, this lady, when you pay her, basically, you literally give your first name, your last name, and you pay, and your phone number if you're doing a FaceTime or WhatsApp. That's it. And here's what I gave her: my married name, because, and I will say I'm not a skeptic, but I was like, but just in case, she Googles me, nothing's gonna come up as Tracy Berry. Nothing. I only use my married name at trade school and on a bank account. That's it. I never legally changed my name, like independence and whatnot, So I gave her my married name. Sis don't know anything about me. Nothing. She don't know anything about a CrazyBerryTown, my maiden name, nothing. And nothing that we did in the first session would give her any indication of what might have happened in the second session. Mm-hmm. So my maternal grandmother came through and talked about my husband, and she just kept saying, "You've got a good one. You've got a good one." And I agree. And then now this was really interesting to me. So Tim's stepdad recently passed, and it was really hard for him and his siblings. And he came, and this is the thing, they said anybody that's connected to you can come through. Anybody so it could be a classmate, it could be, but somewhat close though, not just some random person you met in a grocery store, not that. But he's family. He was my husband's stepfather and helped raise my husband. And their younger brother, my brother-in-law, who just got married in San Diego, he was very small when Tim's stepdad and mom got married. So that's his dad to him. And so he came through. Before he died, he had diabetes and he had to have a leg amputated. And this is how I knew it was him. Well, she described him to a T, but in my mind, I'm like, no, that's not him. I'm like talking myself out of it because I'm an idiot. But she said that he kept looking down and pointing at his legs. And I stopped her. I said, "Does he have two legs?" And she said, "Yes." And she said he kept saying to her, "Look at what I can do." And he was like dancing and like moonwalking kind of, which is what he would do with the kids. He would moonwalk because to kids, these days, they don't know anything about a moonwalk, right? They're like, "That's corny. That's stupid." And then when they see it, they're like, "How did you moonwalk?" That's what he would do. And he was moonwalking and said, "Look what I can do." He had both of his legs. And so I knew when she said that, I knew it was him. And so Tim's brother just had a birthday, and I won't go through all the details. Anyway, it was him. Then Tim's mom came through, and which was interesting. Now, you all know my husband's a minister, and I think I spooked him. I told him what happened and everything that his mom and his stepdad said, and he hasn't talked about it since. Like, he's just like, and listen, he supports me. My guy is amazing. He's amazing, and he supports pretty much anything I do. I mean, he does. I mean, other than maybe jumping off a building or something like that, he's down, right? And he does not discourage me in any way. But I don't know if he fully, I'm not gonna say he doesn't buy into it, but I just think he's a ponderer. I think we'll have a conversation. I'll update you next week. I think we'll have a conversation about it like over the weekend. Like, he's one of those that has to like think about it. But what I told him, they said, I mean, he can't deny like that it was them, and the messages that they had for him and his siblings. So by this time, it was 15 minutes or so, and I said, "Yeah, I'm looking to hear from my mom." And she said, "Well, she connected to anyone that came through?" I said, "Yeah, my grandmother." So she'll close her eyes sometimes, and like sort of like she's listening to something. And she said, did your mother wear glasses? And does she have this, that, whatever? And as she was saying it, she was waving at her like, "Yeah, it's me." And so she asked me, she said, "Well, what color?" She said, she had black and white glasses, and the glasses that she wore when she died were black and white. And as I was saying something to her, she kept shaking her head. And everybody, my dad, my mom, everybody called me Baby T. And so she kept saying Baby T. I said, "That's my mom." And she was giving me messages from her. And she seemed to be worried about my aunt. So she communicated my aunt through her birthday. And so she talked about this birthday. And I said, "Yeah, that's my aunt." And my aunt is the last living sibling. And she's had an interesting life. I'll just say that, with substance abuse and things like that. It is crazy. We grew up saying, she's had the most worldly life, but she's going to outlive all the siblings. And she did. She's the only one that's made it to 70. And strangely, my aunt, my uncle, and my mom all died at 68. And so my mom is worried about her. And my aunt is planning to come here for a little while this summer. And my aunt, we just talked about it last week. And I've been sort of like, I don't really want her to come, like maybe she'll call me and say she's not coming, and she just has a lot of stuff with her. I love her. And my mom said, let her come. Let her come. She's worried about her and she needs to just be in a different environment. So I guess she's coming, y'all. But she's coming. And she just, she one of the things that she said that made me cry the most was that this was key to me. She said, I'm enjoying being there with you and Tim, watching you raise Trey.
Oh.
Done. I was like, goodbye, hang up the phone. Like, and she talked about him. She said, and we say this all the time about him, about his vocabulary. She said, he's a whirlwind. And I love hearing him talk because he's so intelligent and he uses bigger words than I ever could. And it's true. Like, again, it's just, it has, like, you just can't deny, like, you can't. And for her to say that, she didn't say, I enjoy watching you. She's like, I enjoy being there with you to see you raise Trey. Just take me on the glory right now. I was verklempt, and so it ended with her. It ended because she always asked for, like, whoever's last in the session, do you have any final things you want to say to Tracy or anything? And so she said that, just like she said the first time, that my spirit, my joy for life has dimmed. But yet the other day she said that, I lack motivation. My motivation, like, I just can't. And spiritual thought leader, we've talked about this. Like, I got all these things going on in my head, and because I have so much going on, I just don't know where to start. And she said that she was motioning, like she was taking my hand to go outside and to say, you have this whole big world out there. Get out there, get off the sofa, which is my favorite place in the house. Get off the sofa and get to it. I taught you to find the joy. And this is what I say to you guys. You all know I say at the end of every stream, find the joy in life every day. Find the joy in something. That's what she used to tell me. And she said that. She said, I taught you to find the joy every day, and I need you to find your joy. And she went away. So it was beautiful. It was amazing. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. That was amazing. And yeah, I need the phone number.
Yeah, I'll give you her information. She's amazing. She's a beautiful person, and she's patient. I booked the first time and quit. I booked and unbooked 6 times. So she finally reached out to me and said, how can I help you? I'm not going to force you to do this, but what's your block? Can I help you? Because I see you keep, she said, so she was cute. She's like, well, you're not getting your money back. I don't do refunds, but she will let you keep rebooking. Right. And she was like, how can I help you? What's your fear? What is, and she talked me through it. And that next time I booked, which was my birthday, I kept it and did it. So I will send you her information and Instagram. Yeah, she's just amazing.
Yeah, because, I've often believed, scripture talks about there's this great cloud of witnesses.
Yeah.
And my choir director used to explain it like looking over the balcony of heaven and just kind of being there and seeing and watching you, like they're there. But to hear you say that she's with you, because all she did was go back to being spirit, right? She's no longer here in the flesh, but she is spirit right now. Yeah. And spirit has no limitations.
Right. Absolutely. That's right.
So it's comforting to know.
Yep.
Because I mentioned before, I still talk to my grandmother. I still talk to Miss Webb. I still talk to. I'm not expecting them to speak to me, but I'm talking to them with the assurance that they hear me. So that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. Well, and thank you all too. I see your comments. I said this last week. It came up because I asked the question, because of your grief or loss, what was something that you did that either you thought was kind of off the wall, or maybe you thought others would think is off the wall? And even talking about it, I get a little bit nervous because, listen, you all know I have no filter. Like, I don't really care what you think about me. Honestly, I'm not even being funny. But in this space, because this is spiritual thought leaders, I mean, we share this community and we thank you. I do care. I don't want anybody to be like thrown off, or whatever. And your comments are comforting. I appreciate you receiving that. You may in your mind think that's a little Looney Tunes. I get it. I get it. But but I appreciate that and you receiving that, because at least listening, but to type the comments, I appreciate your support. But and I know to many people it's and we talked about this last week, if we want to kind of talk a little bit more about it, but we talked about this last week. I think someone asked the question of you both, like how you feel about this, being pastors. And I know some of our hesitation is cultural, it's religious. And I'm just here to say, for me, I was in such pain, and I still am. I was in such pain that besides, drinking myself into an oblivion, or, I was never considering suicide, but I'm just saying, besides doing something crazy or something to harm myself, I was willing to do anything. And I think that was my pause in keeping the appointment, was that I had this thing in my mind that, we don't do that, or it can't be real. And I just want to tell you, for me, in my experience, and through looking at her reviews, her feedback that she has on her page, it's real for me and those of us who have done it and experienced it. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I connected with those loved ones. And like I said, I didn't know what I needed, but I got it. I got whatever it was. I can't even say what it is, but to know that my mom is here and that she can see me, I mean, that changed everything for me, because for her to go so suddenly and for me to not say goodbye, to hear from her, and to, the medium said that she was dancing, and she's herself. She's that's who she is. She's a dancer. She said when she came through, she said, your mom fills the room. She said, but when she's with you, it's 100 times fold. She's right. And I felt so good knowing that she's herself right now. She's her, and she's with me, and she sees me. And that, I'm still in a lot of pain because I miss her, but I just feel so much better, and I feel joyous when I think about that exchange and think about her being there and connecting with me in that way. So I just want you all to know that if it is something that you've been thinking about, keep thinking about it. But my experience was really positive, and I will do it again and again for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so from my perspective as a pastor, I believe that God gives gifts without repentance, and it's all in how people use their gifting. And it's clear that she has that gift to be able to not only hear from the spirit realm, but also see things that, I mean, there's all manner of spiritual gifts that God gives. So I remember when the what was it, the Long Island Medium came out, and I used to watch
she had a
that
show.
show.
Yeah,
It's a show about this loud Jersey medium that literally would be going through the grocery store, and then she start picking up stuff from people.
yeah.
And I remember being skeptical initially watching her, but I watched the impact that she had on people's lives.
Yeah.
She always left people better than she found them.
Wow.
They got answers that they needed. They got the comfort that they needed. They truly were healed in a way, or helped along their healing journey.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would come out of nowhere because her children were like, "Here she go again." I mean, like, I mean, she could be
Right.
nail
Can
shop.
imagine.
She was known for her nails, her big
Yep.
hair, her
I
makeup,
remember her.
and all of that.
She had
And
like teased
that,
hair, right? Was that
right,
her
the
with the big? Yeah,
teased
I know what you're
hair,
talking about.
and all of that. And they're going, I mean, they could be anywhere, the mall, the grocery store, just
Yeah.
Walmart. It didn't
Mhm.
matter. And if she was picking up on something, she would go up to a random stranger and say
Wow.
whatever. And inevitably, she would be right on. And she knew these
Wow.
people from nothing. These are somebody she just walked up to in a store, and her daughter would be like, "Oh, like there she is."
Right.
And she would walk off. But as they got, even as her kids started to get older, they started to see the value in what she was doing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, the enemy can try to twist a lot of things. But if whatever she's doing is leaving people better, because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's not what happened in any of those scenarios. That's
Right.
not what happened in your scenario.
Right.
So as long as it's the motive behind it and the spirit within it, that makes the difference for me.
I agree.
So to have peace when you leave says it's something that God would approve of happened in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely felt peace, and I knew there was some growth because I didn't cry through the whole thing. The first, the first one, I literally, I was writing. I took notes both times, but the first time I took notes and stuff, so I remember, and cried through the entire thing, literally from start to finish. Like she gets on the phone, "Hey Tracy," I'm like crying immediately. But this time, I only cried when at the very very end, when my mom was telling me, to be to get your motivation, go out there and get at him, Tiger, that kind of thing. And then I cried when I hung up because I went back and read my notes because I was writing some things really quickly too. One thing she did say too was that she said sometimes she'll do like a combination, like she'll do like an intuitive thing about the living, like right now. And so in the very beginning, she said, "I'm getting this feeling." She said, "You have one living brother." I said, "Yeah, I do." I said, "I had one that passed during COVID." And so she said, so he's my like I said, my dad had other kids, and and I haven't talked to him. I've been calling him. And she said that he's really struggling right now. He's going through, he's lost his job. And I don't know any of this because I haven't talked to him. I've been trying to call him. And she said he's lost his job. He's feeling really depressed, really down. And he may be making some moves to shake himself out of this thing. And I said, "Well, thank you for telling me that. I will try harder to reach out to him." So I talked to my sister, who's from another mother, a lot of mamas with my dad. I talked to her. She said, "Oh, yeah, I talked to Charles, last week, and yeah, he's, he was actually in a psych ward because he was just, in a really bad place, and that's why I haven't been able to get in touch with him. He's depressed, and he wants to move to Texas because he lost his job." That's what she said. She said he lost his job. So my sister, everything the lady told me, my sister said, "Yep." And that too. Yep. And that, I'm like, what the? So I'm going to make the effort to call him. But sometimes she says she'll get something that's so strong and she'll just sort of interject that in. And again, that, was confirmation, as well. And and again, I needed that push, to really, I call him once every few weeks kind of thing, but now I make the push to call him more and try to get in touch with him and see if there's anything I can do to help him in his struggles and to help him if he wants to move. But she, she knew that too, so yeah, anybody I see in the chat, I've seen in the chat earlier, if you want this woman's information, she's on Instagram. I connected with her on Instagram. I can either, if you whisper me, you're not following me on Instagram, you can whisper me and I'll send you her website. If you're on Instagram, I can send you her profile and you can see the things that she posts. And you can see, people's feedback, other customers, feedback and things. And she also offers classes for those who feel they have the gift or a gift. She offers intuitive reading classes for you to, I guess, hone your craft, or I don't know how you say, I don't know what the terms are. I don't know, but she offers that as well. So just contact me either way and I'll connect you with her. Yeah.
Wow,
Thank you all for listening.
That's amazing. And I mean, you and I had just talked about your brother. So
right. I
to
forgot
get that confirmation as to how he's doing and what's
Yeah.
happening with him days later is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And my sister, she said the only reason why she got in touch with him was because one of the times they talked, my niece wanted to move to LA or something. And my sister lived in LA for a really long time. And so my brother said, well, I'll give you Faith's number, whatever, we'll connect you to. So my sister called her and said, where is your father? Like, she said, I'm right here with him. And so she put him on the phone. Otherwise, he just wasn't returning or answering calls. So she resorted, and I don't have my niece's number. I mean, we're just, I don't know, we're just that dynamic of family. We just don't stay connected or whatever. But my sister did. And so after about 7 or 8 calls, she said, let me call her. And that's how she was able to get in touch with him and find out all these things the medium said to be true. So yeah, it is amazing, Rebel. It is. Growing up, I don't know that I mean, I know I heard, we talked about this last week, I heard about the, we don't do that. That's the devil, but I've heard those things, but I don't know that I fully believed it. I guess I never really thought about it. Like I would see the talk shows. There were a couple of people that would be on Oprah sometimes. Was the lady Sylvia, I think was her name or whatever. I love me some Sylvia. I always kind of leaned in. I was just like, yo, she's really good or he's really good, in my mind, and then of course people say, well, that's just TV. They knew who those people were, whatever. But as I was watching it in my own thoughts, I was like, that's real to me. Like I never bought into that. But at the same time, I always just said, it's not for me. Like to me, I would be like, oh, I don't need that. Or, that's not for me, but not that I didn't believe in it or anything like that. It was never that. I never hated or shamed or anything like that. I just felt like I don't need that, but I did. I did. And it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful again to know, like I said, that my mom is there and she's herself. This is the first time she was dancing. She said, my grandfather come through first. And she said, wait, here comes this woman. She just knocked him over, like just pushed him out of the way. And she danced in her space, in her view. And she was dancing this time. And yep, that's her. Yeah. Wow. She's always dancing like me, right?
That's amazing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So
that was a good gift for you.
It was. I might, I'm not lying. I might do it every birthday, every year. I might. I want to see, I don't know. I have someone I want to talk to about it, but I wonder if changing the date, if things, what would make it different, because I was thinking about doing it on her birthday. The 2 times I went to do it, I waited too late. She was booked up. But I wanted to change the day to do it on her birthday and just see. So if I don't do it every year for my birthday, I might swing around and do it on her birthday and see. But it was a beautiful gift. And really all I needed, I got a microphone for my birthday I used on my stream earlier, and a purse and a case of wine and all that, which is amazing. And I love it.
Another microphone or the 3
I'm looking, I got 2 microphones. I got 2. I got a red 3 RW microphone, and that thing lights up. It got lights. It has lights. But then I got a regular, like a real microphone, like for real.
Oh, fancy.
I'm fancy, y'all. Don't play with me, okay?
Okay.
But that gift it tops. It really does. So yeah. So anybody out there, has anyone had an experience like that? Have you done that before? Thought about it? And I know I took up a lot of time talking about that, but what y'all want to talk about? How y'all doing out there today?
We needed to hear all of that.
All of that
needed to be said.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to share. And thank you for receiving me in that. I really, seriously, I appreciate that. Because just like with grief, right? Like just like with talking about our loved ones and how we feel about, we want to talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. And this is part of that journey. I want to talk about it. And if people are interested in that, I want to talk about it for you so you can get that blessing if you want it. And I know it's something, again, we just don't talk about a lot, and if we talk about it, it's a don't say that, we don't do that. It's that kind of thing. And we just shut the conversation off. So this is what I love about this space, is that we can be ourselves, all of you, not just the three of us you see on the screen, but all of you. You can talk about your loved ones. You can talk about your feelings and your joys, your highs, your lows, your sadness, whatever, that is what I love about this space, is that we can feel free, wherever we are in our grief, like Kim said with that pictures, like the swirls and stuff, wherever we are in those swirls of grief, we can talk about it right here and be received and welcomed in that. And I hope you all feel comfortable sharing whatever it is, however you're feeling today, something that happened, whatever. I hope you all feel that too. Well, you keep coming back. So
Amen.
we appreciate that.
And I just want to remind everybody that grief is not just associated with the loss of a loved one. I talked to another friend she's known her now husband 32 years, since they were 19 years old. And they're going through a divorce. And so just the grief associated with that, of having come to this place 32 years later, is really difficult. Not just for her, but even for us that know them as a couple. It's kind of like, wait, what? So,
wow.
That's
heavy.
It's not just about, it could be the loss of a career, a job, a limb, anything that is traumatic to you, that you lose something, because trauma inevitably is about loss. So whenever there's a loss of any kind, then there will be grief associated with that. So that's why this is just not about the loss of loved ones, even though it's a major part, because we will all experience that. But just putting it in perspective around other types of losses, where the pain, the anger, the disbelief, the shock, all of that is still a part of that journey. So we just want to keep that in mind.
Also too, I dealt with infertility issues on the other side. I never had a miscarriage, but there was a lot of grief there and not getting pregnant for 5 years. But many people experience infertility, and sometimes tied up in that infertility is miscarriage. And that is there's a whole another level of grief surrounding that kind of loss. That is, I mean, even for people who go on to have children, still talk about, I have a number of friends who have had one or more miscarriages and have children, multiple children, and that grief just eats at them even still, because some people say, rude people, well, you did end up having kids. First of all, after I slap you down to the ground, let me tell you that doesn't take away the pain of the loss of that child or those children that could have come forth. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense to me. So I know, that's another portion of grief, or another facet as well. And again, our society, I mean, listen, in case, our Twitch is tapped or something. I love America. In case anybody heard that, I do. And I love living here. I do. But our society overall, again, we're just not set up for that. I mean, it's a shame. You have some states where people, you have to pay out of pocket, for, care after a miscarriage, or they have to go, you have a miscarriage and you go right to work like the next day or something. Like what?
Yeah.
Besides the physical, right? Besides the physical, there's the grief here, and again, I just think that is something that, and I think people have been shamed into the corner. I'm not going to talk about that. No one wants to hear that. It's just me. It's just, whatever. They get shamed into the corner and don't talk about it and let that grief eat them alive. Yeah, it is sad, Moni. It is. It's awful. And I've experienced it, through many friends, too many. Actually, I hated that it's so many. Honestly, I really do. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even that, I mean, I have friends as well who's, honor the loss every year on what would have been the day,
Hmm. Yep.
whether that is, posting something on Facebook, remembering them, memorial services, whatever,
Yeah.
to acknowledge that a loss occurred,
Yeah.
even though they may have 2 or 3 children now. The loss
Hmm.
of that child is still important. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I see in the chat, people you know people. I don't know, but you may have personal experience, and
mhm,
it's such a thing that we just don't talk about. And I think too, I will say society, I will say that, but I think sometimes, um, I mean, I just okay. I've had 2 mimosas. I can say it. Black folks, we are hard on ourselves and each other. Like
mhm,
sometimes I just think about I just sometimes I watch too much TV and movies and stuff, whatever. But sometimes we are just forced into a place just to suppress that, get over it, just move
mhm,
on. You'll be all right. You're strong. You're
mhm,
tough.
mhm.
And listen, I'm not. This is not shade to any other culture. This is not shade to Black folks. I'm just telling you what I know and have learned in my career, in my
Mhm.
just living and talking, and even here on Twitch, we talk about things like this. But
Yeah.
sometimes we're just so hard. We be tough. You can handle it. You'll have another baby. You'll get another job. You had your mother for that many years or whatever, and sometimes it is cultural. That's what I was saying about the medium thing.
Mhm,
Sometimes it's religious, sometimes it is cultural. But sometimes
mhm.
we're not even received in our own immediate circles,
That goes back to 400 years of
sis.
enslavement of
Yeah.
African Americans in the United
Yep.
States.
Don't make me cry for real. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, I've done enough reading and research and cried enough about generational trauma
Yep.
that is what we have been taught and forced to be, because how else are we going to survive 400 years of
I
all that
know
we've
it.
been through? There is such a thing as post-traumatic slave disorder,
Hmm.
and trauma lives in our DNA.
Yep.
So the
Yeah.
trauma of our ancestors we're still carrying.
Hmm.
And so the setup of the entire system was built for us to not trust one another,
Yeah.
pitting light against dark, house against field, all of those types of things. And then add grief onto that. Our families were broken apart, children were taken, sometimes out of our arms and sold. I mean, we have all of that we are
Yeah.
carrying.
Yeah. Right.
Yet we're told to suck it up, man up, woman up, put your big girl panties on and move on as if nothing has happened. And then we're told not to go get therapy, that you can just pray it away, you can cry it away, and you'll be
Right.
okay. But it ends up you're drinking it away, you're smoking it away, you're sexing it away. You have all of these other ways that you have to cope, and none of that is healthy.
That's right.
Which is why mental health and talking about it has
Yeah.
to be a part of what we do as a people. So I
Yeah.
applaud Spiritual Thought Leader for opening this up, for being able to share in this space, for Beauty for
Hmm.
You for having people on to talk about mental health, for Prodigy doing the same thing, because it has to be made a normal thing for us to do. Because for so long, we just kind of act like there's nothing wrong. And so why do we think that Black people are harder on Black people? Because we still live in that dynamic. We're still
Hmm.
operating in that space where, you can't let them see you cry. You can't let them see you sweat. You can't let them know that you're hurt. You can't let them know you're going
Yeah.
through anything. And
Yeah.
the secrets are what kill us.
Yeah.
I
That's
put
where the depression starts,
that
Lawanda. You're right.
last night. Not showing emotion is a slow death.
Yeah.
God created us to cry, to grieve, to go through whatever it is that we go through and make no apology for that.
Mhm.
And so if there's people in your circle that can't handle it, then that might not be the people you want to be around when you're trying to heal and when you're trying to really be in the best space that you need to be for you.
Mhm. Yeah, and I get it. I think back to that, and I get, like you said, it's in our DNA, and the things that, we heard from the previous generation, and then my grandfather and my mom, a lot of that stuff was ingrained in them from a long, long time ago, right?
Mhm.
And so I get it, and that's what hurts so bad, because and again, why I'm so happy we're here, because the change has to start somewhere, right? We just can't keep
Mhm.
resting on that. And that's what my grandma told me. And
Mhm.
and that's why I hope, what I hope for many of us, I keep saying you, but all of us, is that we help each other, and we, for ourselves, break that cycle. We get the help that we need. And again, for those of you who are here who are not necessarily in that place right now, you can then reach out, make the circle for someone, and be a blessing to them and help them as they're going through whatever it is. We can be the change. We can break that, be aware of it and know where it's coming from, but then also move, try to pivot. Dr. Danny Priest, try
Yes.
to pivot
Past
past
the
that.
Discord.
Right.
Past the Discord.
Pivot.
Yeah,
Whether it's internal or external Discord.
Yeah.
yeah, just try to, we can be different. We can get help. I was so surprised to find out from my job how much how many resources there were through our insurance for therapy, for all different, and they even had it like broken down on the website for the USG, the University System of Georgia, in categories. They had fertility issues, they had loss of someone and a loved one. I mean, and they were like, your first one is, 20 minutes. You get like all these like consultations and stuff so you could find the right person. And then you get all these amount of hours for free. So we have, some of us, we have resources, and we have this space. And my hope and my prayer for all of us is that we can, come out of the shadows, even if it is in a safe space. It doesn't have to be your whole family. You tell, all, it doesn't have to be all of that. Find yourself, call the grief hotline that keeps popping up. Find a grief group in your church or in your community. I went to a church, but not my own. I went to a different one here in Atlanta that had a group. I didn't want a one-on-one, but you don't have to live in that pain by yourself. Whether it's you come here, whether we're in the Discord, whether you reach out to me individually, or you call the grief hotline, whatever. We don't have to keep suppressing that. It will kill you. If it don't kill you, it'll make you sick. Make you sick. And we deserve, you deserve to live joyfully. You deserve to be healed, even with the pain, back, again, my mom being gone, it's awful. I hate it. But I can live joyfully. I clearly, as you all see, I cut up every day. But that can be you too. You could be on stream cutting the fool and drinking, and acting up and cussing. So that could be you too. But my point is that you don't have to, because some of us are like, it's like ingrained in us. Like we should, like if we're not feeling pain, there's something wrong. Like we should be downtrodden and what. No, you don't have to. And that is what I love about Spiritual Thought Leader. Every day when she comes on her stream, it may be a different topic or a different story or something. But the overarching thing is, whether it's about a particular person or a group of people, is that we can all live better. We can be better. We can do better because we deserve it. We're not put on this earth to just be walking around half crazy. No. And we have each other to support and to lean on. And I just pray that you all, wherever you are right now, and you're feeling that you know that there's a way to get help, and to feel better in whatever way that happens. Yeah. Thank you, BTD Mom. We're glad you're here too.
Yes, we're glad you're here. Thank you, truck driver. We got you.
Yes. Aw.
He is the poster child for he gets it.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely gets it.
I like what Jonna said, in talking about sort of that suppression, it's the breeding ground for the angry Black woman. And that's
Mhm.
what made me want to cry. Like when Kim Possible first started talking about, how it just goes back to, slavery, and that,
Mhm.
people don't get us. You wonder why, we, are feeling the things that we do, and why we might show it in certain ways. And it's just so many layers and just so
Mhm.
much without the grief,
Mhm.
right? Right.
Yeah.
You
Without
just
the
take the grief
everyday
away.
walking around stuff that's gonna happen to all of us, we
Yeah.
already got that. Then you start to pile all the other things on top of that.
Right.
And then we're told to just deal with it. No, no,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah.
We've been dealing with it for 400 years, and it's time for folks to heal now.
Yeah.
We're
Jonna
over
said
that.
it's okay to be joyful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you say that, because I had moments, in that first year or two where I felt guilty for being happy, and um just I don't know, I just felt like not that I should be the grieving person in black every day. I don't know, but there were days where I just felt like, how can the sun shine and she's not here? Why is it help, son? Why are you even shining? You should be out somewhere, hanging out somewhere, because my mother's gone. Like, I felt like I just shouldn't be joyful, and I shouldn't be happy. And of course, I would put on that face and do cartwheels with Trey, almost breaking my neck. But all of that because I felt like I should do it for him. But deep down, I felt bad about it, um, and I felt guilty. Like, she's not here. She was only 68, literally 68. I always joke around and say 68 in a day. She turned 68 on August 24th and died the next day. And I felt guilty for being happy and joyful, even though deep down in my guts, that's how I feel all the time anyway, right? But but it's okay. Jonna's right. It's okay to feel
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And we should,
Mhm.
because it feels good.
Mhm.
So
And she has admonished you to go forth and do so.
right, exactly. That she
Mhm.
has. That's what she said. She said, there's a whole world out there. Get yourself together, little lady. Get it together, and keep finding that joy every day.
Mhm.
And she said before, one of the things that she said in the, towards the end was, the first time I was completely, just a wreck. And she noticed that things were better. My mom said, you're better. But what she did is I forgot about this. I wrote it all down, so it's not to memory yet. But she said that she showed that I was like, she was showing me as if I were pushing it all to the back, like I'm pushing the pain like to the back of my head. And so she's like, it's not right here at the forefront every day. You're just kind of pushing it back and living that way. And she said she was motioning as if she were kissing my head and rubbing my hair. Um, so again, she can see me. She sees I'm working hard to get better,
Mhm.
and I'm working hard to um for the joy to be real. I mean, it is. I mean, like I said, there were times where I would feel guilty about it, or I'd put on the brave face, or I joke it away. But now what I feel is more genuine. On a more regular basis, there are days where I really do turn it on. Like, I have to force myself to smile and get it together, but not as much, and it feels natural and like my old self, and she can see that.
Mhm.
Um and that, I mean, again, like I said, my day was made. Like, it's like, okay, we can go home, we can just make it March 17th now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jonna is right. Nobody grieves in the same way. Everybody's journey is different. That's why that image on
Yeah.
about the lines,
Yeah.
nobody's journey is the same. There's commonality as it relates to things that happen within it, but how you go through it is totally your journey.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are times when like I'll forget. I remember dates and anniversaries of folks' birthdays and anniversaries when
Mhm.
people died and blah blah blah. And I remember the day that I forgot that that was the day that Miss Webb died because it was January 1st.
Right.
So I'm gonna remember that forever. But then I had
Right.
gotten all the way through the day and then realized that didn't remember. And then I'm like, how could I forget something like that? But then I had to say, well, do I beat myself up about this? For a hot second, I did.
Mm-hmm.
But, then I just kind of and then I, of course, now go back through and remember all of what happened that day. The initial phone call.
Yeah.
She's going to hospice. We didn't want to tell you because it was the holidays. We wanted you to enjoy the holidays. But, since we're moving her today, want to make sure you knew. And then, within 3 hours, she didn't even make it to hospice. So it's like, huh?
Wow.
Like, because I literally had just got in the mindset of now I got to process that. And I still think that she can pull through it. Hospice is still not the final thing. I mean, I had all these conversations going on.
Of course.
And to get the other call from the pastor, like, what? No, I need to talk to Andrew. I don't believe you. I need to call him.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I realized, okay, they really are. This really is happening. And I, just sat for like the next hour trying to wrap my mind around that.
Mm-hmm.
And
it sounds like it was like a whirlwind. It just went so fast.
And then the tears start. And so everybody's journey and process is different. Because I'm going to try to at least reason my way in it and think it through.
Yeah.
Because I need you to make it make sense for me, because it's not making sense right now. Right. So, but I think we're at our time now.
Are we? That went by fast. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was gonna let you guys roll.
Yeah, this has been good today, though.
Yeah, good chat today.
Very good.
Thank you guys so much.
Good chat. And we are spirit. And so I appreciate you sharing your story, Tracy. Because we talk that in church, but then when we start talking about spirit experiences, then we want to back up off of it like we don't believe it. But we are spirit, and I believe that with all my heart. We are spirit. Some of us have not necessarily had the experience like you have, but even as Twana said, she's had her mother speak to her. Other people have had similar experiences, and in the grief process, you find a lot of times that people do not want to acknowledge they've had a spirit breakthrough because they think people are going to think they're crazy. So I appreciate you for putting it front and center, and especially in the non-traditional way. Some of us just have the natural breakthrough where our loved ones just go ahead and communicate with us directly. But you used what we would have been taught in a lot of areas is the non-traditional, ungodly way of having that encounter with your loved one. But at the same time, listen, we don't have to go there. And nobody's under that bondage. Nobody's under that cloud anymore. So I hope that your sharing and your bravery, I'm going to call it bravery, Tracy, because there are a lot of people that would have, listen, I know people that have had just natural breakthroughs and they don't have the bravery. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Right. I know what you're saying.
They do not want to be ostracized and talked about and looked at crazy. So they won't even mention that. Much less to say, I went to a medium and this is my experience that I had. So I appreciate your bravery in sharing and saying what you did. So thank you. Kim, you always have and bring those words of wisdom. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out. I want to say yesterday, my friend called, one of my dear friends called, and her son was the latest homicide here in the city. And this is the second child she has lost to gun violence. And so I had the blessing to go and sit with her in her pain on yesterday, and we'll walk this journey with her throughout. And to see her weep and cry and say, I have no more sons. It's just, it's like a dream. It's like a dream.
Oh my Lord.
So, I appreciate this space and everybody that's come in. We love you all. We love you, and we appreciate you for coming and being transparent and with us. I'm going to say this, and before I get done, we do have on Sunday, I want you to come back. I'm gonna kind of digress a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back with my close, and then I'm gonna leave it to you all to take us out of here. But on Sunday, I want you to be here. We call her Fairly all day, but Susan Fairly will be in Yes You with Friends on Sunday at 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Sunday, March the 22nd. Now, check this sister out. We know her as Fairly all day, but this sister is a heavy hitter. I won't go through all of her all of her academic accolades, but I just pulled a few things out of here. She is an Emmy winner, Grammy nods for editing, studio recording, engineering, and she deals with law and contracts. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this on Sunday. Please meet us back here Sunday at 6:00 and Fairly all day. We just love you and thank you for being in here. Lastly, and then I'll turn it back over to you all. Cortez Jossenberger, I speak your name. I speak your name.
Mm-hmm.
I speak your name.
Ashe.
Ashe. Mm-hmm. Well, as I say every week, grief is there for us to experience. And so may there be grace and peace for your journey.
Yes. And again, thank you all so much. Thank you for your beautiful comments and for sharing your thoughts, your memories, your experiences. That gives us, confirmation and validation that we're in the right place at the right time. So thank you all so much. And as always, please find the joy in something every single day. That's from Cece. That's from my mama. Okay. So I need you to do it. So find the joy in something every single day. You are worth it. And I can't wait to see you all next week. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Those that want to meet us in the afterglow, go to the Discord channel, and you will find us located there in STL Cafe, and that's going to be audio, STL or video, STL Cafe video. Meet us there, and we will chat with you, and we'll enjoy some extra time on a more intimate level until around 2:00. We wrap it up about that time. Thank you all so much for joining. We don't raid out after this because of the nature of our stream, and as well to give people an opportunity to come share with us in Discord. So with that, I say ashe, peace for your journey.